Genesis chapter 19. And it entered 2 of the messengers Sodomwards in the evening. See the article here. And Lot sitting in the gate of Sodom. And it saw Lot, and it rose he to encounter them. And he fell on the ground, his nostrils earthwards. So Weichtoll, obviously, a narrative text. You see that in the second clause, the narrative chain is being interrupted. There we have a nominal clause, and Lot sitting in the gate. So this would trigger then background information. By the way, Lot was sitting in the gate of Sodom. And after that background information has been provided, we are resuming our narrative, and Lot saw, and he rose. Infinitive absolute here, to meet them. So the suffix is a direct object suffix, to meet them. Obviously, then the infinitive construct with a preposition opens always a dependent clause. So it's dependent on vayakom. Vayakom would be our independent clause. So he rose for what purpose? For the purpose of meeting them. Then we have a new Weichtoll, and he bowed down, nostrils earthwards. You see here the locative hey, nostrils earthwards. Verse 2. And he said, and now the direct speech starts, hine, behold, please, my lords, turn now to the house of the servant of yours, and lodge and wash your feet, and rise early in the morning, and walk onto the way of yours. And it said they, no, yeah, in the plaza we are sleeping. Here a couple of remarks are necessary, particular with the use of the Vikatal here, which we'll see here the Vikatal here, which we'll see here in a second. And he spoke, and our direct speech with hine is being started here, and it comes with a series of imperatives, right? Turn, sleep, wash, or stay overnight, and wash your feet. And at that moment, after we had our first imperative, our second imperative, our third imperative, we now transition to so-called vikatals. And vikatals are used to continue the previous finite verbal tense. So the previous finite verbal tense were imperatives. So really the vikatal then inherits the imperativeness of the previous tense. And therefore you should translate both vikatals also as imperatives. So turn, stay overnight, wash your feet, and wake up early in the morning and go on to your way. And they said, yeah, in the plaza we stay. Obviously there is an article involved, but in the plaza we stay. Verse 3. And it urged into them very much he, and they turned to him, and they entered to the house of him, and he made for them a drinking feast, and matzes, unleavened breads, it baked, and it ate they, and they ate. Yeah. So Lot is urging them very much, and as a result, they are turning to him, and they enter his house, and he does make for them a drinking feast. And you see here, this is a ambiguous clause opening. Matzot, we have a fronted direct object, so a noun phrase starts here, clause, and umatzot, and unleavened breads, he baked. And then we're back into the narrative, and they ate. Verse 4. Not yet it went to lay down, they, and the man of the city, the man of Sodom, surrounded over the house from small or young and until old. all the people from an edge. So what is new to you and what you need to learn is that the word terem is a negation of a yictol form that as a package, so terem plus yictol, functions as a negated vayictol. Yeah, so terem always and only comes with the yictol. Terem does not come with another tense. It comes with the yictol, similar to the vav patach dagesh forte always triggers the vayictol. So really, this pair of terem plus yictol functions like the vayictol, just the negated version of the vayictol. They did not yet sleep. And the men of the city, the men of Sodom, surrounded all the house. And you see that we have then a specifier of what are all these people. They are from young until old. Obviously, in the Hebrew, we can repeat or we can add the word end to be from young and from old. From young until old, that's how we would say it into English. That's how we would say it in English. And then we have an apposition, all the people of the edge. So Katse can refer here to the suburbs of the city. So it's not just the city center in that sense, it's people, but it's also the outskirts of the city that have their people go here to Lot. Verse 5. And it called they to Lot, and it said they to him, where the man which came to you the night, by night. In Hebrew, we don't use the preposition to, tonight, or the preposition by night. A similar thing you do in English with the word day, today, but Hebrew does replace the prepositions or uses instead of prepositions the article. So which they came to you tonight. Bring out them, you see here hifil of yatsa with direct object suffix. Bring out them to us, and we are going to know them. Pretty straightforward. Vayictol here, and they came to Lot, Vayictol, and they said to him. Then the direct speech starts. You see here an unambiguous clause opener with the interrogative. You see the aye, so you know the clause starts there. Where are the men? Asher, unambiguous clause opener. Who came to you by night? And then bring out them to us, and we will know them. Verse 6. And it went out to them Lot, the opening words, and the door it shut he behind him. So he went out, Lot went out. Obviously the alehem is fronting, so it went out to them. You would have expected at vayetze Lot alehem, and it went out Lot to them, but we have fronting here. Focus thus is on the people who are surrounding the house. And then opening words. You see here the locative hey towards the opening. Verse 7. Vayomar. And it said he, do not, my brothers, do evil. Don't do evil. So Vayomar is our speech introduction, and then obviously the speech then is being launched with the negation al. Don't, do not now, please not, my brothers, do something evil. Verse 8. Behold, now, to me, two of, you see here the construct ending, of daughters, which not have known a man. I will, you see a cohortative here, I will bring now them to you, and do, imperative, and do to them according to the good in the eyes of yours. We have a similar phrase in Genesis 20. Basically, it's an idiom that says, and do whatever you consider to be good to them. Only to the man, these, do not do a thing. Because they came into my shade of into the shade of my beam. Korah is beam. It's the beam, the central beam of a roof. Basically, it's in reference to the roof. So why are they not to do anything? Because they came into the shade of my roof. So you see that we have an unambiguous clause open here, asher, which they did not know a man. Then our next clause starts with the imperatives here, and bring them out to us, and again imperative, do to them according to what is good in your eyes. Rak opens another clause, only to the man that these do not do a thing. Clause ends here, and then new clause, key, always clause opener opens here. Yeah, therefore because they came into the shade of my beam, of my roof. Verse 9. Vayomru, and they said. Imperative starts the direct speech. Come herwards, come towards here. And they said, the one who came to sojourn, it's a lagur, would be a dependent clause, dependent on this clause. And he judged, a judging, new clause. Now we are doing evil to you from them. We'll have to discuss this construction here in a bit. And they pressed into the man, into Lot very much. And they came close, they came near to break the door. So what you see here is, grammatically speaking, two interesting phenomena that you need to know and be aware of. Number one, we have here again the use of an infinitive absolute. This infinitive absolute, however, is following the finite verbal form. So we have first the finite verbal form, and then we have the infinitive absolute. In that case, the meaning of continuation is being triggered, and he continuously judged. So he comes as a foreigner, but he does nothing but judging, and he continuously judges. He never-endingly judges, so to say. And the other construction that is very common that you need to know how to operate it is the preposition min. What min does, it can trigger two functions, either from or in comparison to. Now, this is not an arbitrary thing, so you just need to feel it, but it has to do with valence. If you have a verb of valence involved, a verb of movement involved, then min triggers the meaning from. I go from there to there. I walk from there. I take something from there. So I return from there to there. So these are words of movement. Whenever you have a min, then it triggers the meaning from. However, if we don't have a word of movement involved, then like here, ra'a is to do evil. It's not a word of movement. To do evil. Then the min preposition will function as a comparison marker. So we will do more evil to you than to them. Or compared to them, we are doing evil to you, if you want to do it more literally. But really the idea is comparison, so we are going to treat you more evilly than we would have treated them. And the rest should be clear. You see here at the end, again, a dependent clause, lijbor, dependent clause on the independent clause, vaikshu. So, and they drew near for the purpose of breaking the door. Verse 10. And it sent out the man, the hand of them, and they brought Lot to them, the housewards, and the door they closed. So Vaiktol, and they sent, and the man sent. Here we have our plural subject fitting the plural predicate, and the man sent their hand. So obviously the direct object for the sending. What are they sending? They're sending the hand. Vayaviu, you see here, bo in hifil, and they brought, therefore it's not enter, but to cause somebody to enter. So here we have our direct object, and they brought Lot to them, the housewards. You see here the locative hey at the end. That's an indication without accent, so that tells us this common say is a locative hey, so you can translate also in English and they brought Lot to them towards the house. And then we have a fronted direct object, and the door they closed. Verse 11. We see with ve'et ha'anashim already that the direct object is fronted, and the man, which opening of the house, they hit with sudden blindness, or with sudden blindnesses, right, from small and until big, and they became tired or weary to find the opening. So what is the challenge here in the translation is, I think, the petach habayit, because in English we would add a preposition. In addition to that, it's a nominal clause. So let's have a look at this. And the man, and you see here asher clause opener, which at the house we would add the word, a preposition at the opening of the house, which were nominal clause. We would have to add a word of to be, which were at the door of the house, or at the opening of the house. The man, they hit with sudden blindness from small and until great. So you see here that the clause that was opened with the direct object, ve'et ha'anashim, so this clause has been interrupted by the asher clause and is resumed with hiku. So the man, they hit with sudden blindness and they got weary. And then you see here an infinitive construct, limtzo. They got weary to find the opening. So this is our dependent clause, dependent on the independent clause, vaileu. They got tired to find the opening. Vayomeru, and it said the man to Lot. So we have one clause here. Still, who to you here, husband, sons-in-law, and your sons and daughters of yours, and everybody who is for you in the city, bring out from the place. This is a very long construction here. What you see is that we start with an interrogation, still, who is for you here? And then we have really a list of potential subjects, namely son-in-law and sons of yours and daughters of yours and everybody, and then asher, who to you, who belongs to you in the city. So who is here in the city? You see that the clause is being interrupted really with the asher clause, in the city. Bring out from the place, bring them out from this place. Verse 13. Yeah, destroying are we the place, this. Yeah, great is the screaming of them. Et pene, that's a compound before, meaning before Adonai. And it sent he us, Yahweh, to destroy it. So let's have a look here at the details. Again, key would mark your clause opener. Yeah, because destroying are we this place. So we have a nominal clause with obviously here your mashchitim, the participle, plural functioning as a predicate complement. Anachnu is the subject, predicate complement, anachnu subject, and then we have the direct object et hamakom haseh. And destroying are we, and we are destroying this place. Why? You have another clause, a key clause. For great is their screaming before Adonai. Their screaming is loud before the Lord. Vaishlachu lachenu, and he, that is, you see here the yod, and he, no plural ending, so it's he, it's not they, and he, that is Yahweh. And it sent us, you see here the object suffix, and it sent us Yahweh, and then infinitive construct, opening a dependent clause to destroy her. Verse 14. And it went out Lot, and he said to the sons-in-law of him, takers of the daughters of him, and he said, rise, get out from the place this. Yeah, destroying is Yahweh, the city, and it was like laughter in the eyes of the sons-in-law of him. Yeah, so, and it went out Lot, Vaiktol, and then we have a new one, Vaiktol, and he spoke to his sons-in-law, and now we have a relative clause opened by not a share clause. Usually or often a relative clause is opened by a share clause. That is not necessary. You can also open a share clause with a participle. So to the man, the takers of his daughters, the takers of his daughters. So he spoke to his sons-in-law, the takers of his daughters, new clause, and he said, new clause imperative, rise, new clause imperative, get out from this place, new clause, key, clause opener, key, for destroying is Yahweh the city, Vaiktol, clause opener, and it was like laughter in the eyes of his sons-in-law. I guess the laughter is because Lot offered his daughters to the messengers, to the visitors, and therefore compromised the wedding contracts between his daughters and his future sons-in-law, and so they no longer can take him seriously. Verse 15. And when the sun went up, and it urged the messengers in Lot for the purpose of to say, rise, take your wife and the two of the daughters of you, the ones being found, you see here matzah inifal, the ones being found is a plural participle, the ones being found, lest it is being swept away, you see here the nifal, lest it's being swept away in the sin of the city. So the idea is get out, take them out if you don't want to get swept away by the sin of the city. So it happened when at the time of Gomorrah, as the sun rose. This is our first clause. Then Vaiktol, it urged the messengers, Lot. In English we would have a direct object for urge, to urge somebody. In Hebrew it is to urge into. So in proper English would just translate the messengers urged Lot. And then we have our dependent clause, lemor, by saying, and then kum, rise, new kach, take. That clause actually continues. So et ish, get ishtecha, et ishtecha ve et shite banutecha. So this is your direct object. But then there is a relative clause being opened here again with a participle, the ones that are being found. Then a new clause opener, pen, lest it is swept away, or lest you are swept away, you are being swept away in the sin of the city. Verse 16. And it lingered he. So the hitpael of maha is to linger, to be slow, to hesitate, and it hesitated he. And they grabbed, or they held fast, it held fast the man, the hand of him, and the hand of his wife, and the hand of the two of the daughters of him, in mercy, Yahweh over them, in the mercy of Yahweh over them. And they took him, and they placed him outside of the city. So we have Vaiktol, Lot lingering, Lot really not following the instructions, and the consequence is then a Vayikol where they grab the man grab. What do they grab? We now have indirect objects in Hebrew with the b. In English we would have direct objects. To grab somebody, he has to grab in something, right? And the man grabbed his hand, that's the hand of Lot, and the hand of his wife, and the hand of the two of his daughters, in the mercy of Yahweh. So mercy, Yahweh has mercy over him. That's why they grabbed him. So the rough action of the messengers is an act of mercy or grace. So then we are taking, the messengers taking him and placing him outside of the city. Verse 17. And it happened, you will see an infinitive construct with ke and pronominal suffix. So ke is to be translated as while, as after. And it happened after a taking of them. So after they, this is a subject suffix, after they took them outside, towards the outside, after they took them towards the outside. You see here the locative hey, directive hey. Accent is not on the syllable, so they took them to the outside. And he said, so somebody says, and he said, obviously there's a critical a note in the critical apparatus, and he said, somebody says, flee for your soul. Flee over your soul. In English we would say flee for your life. Flee over your soul, not look behind you, and not stand in any, and this is now an interesting construction, in any of the kikar. Kikar is basically a loaf of bread, but it refers to the cities that built around Sodom and Gomorrah. They built kind of the circles of cities, and that's why the metaphor of kikar is being used. So stay out of this circle of cities, stay out of this loaf of bread. Next clause, towards the mountain flee, and then next clause, lest you are being swept away. You see again here the locative hey, so hahara, accent is not on the common hey. Therefore, it's a locative hey, towards the mountain flee, lest you are being swept away. You see here the nifal form, which turns this into a passive, lest you are being swept away. Verse 18. And it spoke Lot to them, not please, my lords. Verse 19. Behold, please, it finds the servant of yours mercy in the eyes of yours, and it is great the loving kindness of yours which you did with me to have my life. You see a hifil of chaya, to have live my soul, and I am able to flee the mountainwards, lest it clings to me the evil, and I die. So what basically this verse is trying to do, Lot is trying to get additional mercies. So he says, behold, now it has found your servant mercy in your eyes. So that's a statement. That's a fact. They have been merciful to Lot. Mercy, your servant has been merciful in your eyes. And then we have a new Vayikol, and it was great. Again, we tell a story here, a mini story, and it made great, or your loving kindness was great, as you did with me. Verse 19. Behold, now it has found your servants, or your servants found grace in the eyes of you, in your eyes. So the term you have found mercy, or some translate, behold, your servant has found favor in your sight. And it became great, or it was great, the loving kindness of yours, which, clause opener, which you did to me or with me. Now we have a new dependent clause opening here with the infinitive construct plus le. You see here the typical third hey ending for an infinitive construct plus le. So why did they do loving kindness to him, to Lot? Well, in order, le, for the purpose of keeping alive, the hifil of chaya, for keeping alive, for causing to stay alive. What to stay alive? My soul. For keeping my soul alive. So this is the loving kindness that they have shown, and these are the mercies that are found in the eyes of the messengers. And now comes the actual argument that Lot, or the request that Lot wants to make. And I am able to flee towards the mountain. Towards, why? Because we have here a locative hey. You see again the accent is on the penultima here, not on the final syllable with the kametei. Lest it clings to me, hara'a, the evil, and I die. I cannot escape to the mountains lest the disaster overtake me and I die. That's how the ESV translates it. Verse 20. Behold, now, the city, this, is close. You see here we have the attributive use of an adjective. So, ha-sot, ha-ir, this would be our subject. The city, close. You see that we match gender. We have matched gender. They are all feminine. We match number. They're all singular, but we do not match definitiveness. We have the article here, this city, but it's missing here. So therefore, this is the predicative use of the adjective. Behold now, this city is close. Then dependent clauses starting, la nous, or infinitive construct with le, for the purpose of fleeing therewards. So it's close enough to flee there. So you see that Lot is continuing his argument. He doesn't want to, he's unable. He says, I'm not able to flee to the mountains. He wants to not run as far away or as high as the messenger suggests. He rather says, look there, there's a city close by. To that one I'm able to flee. And she, that's the city, and she, mitzar, small. And you see the quotative, I flee, I command myself, I shall flee now therewards. Interrogative hey, so clause opener, is not small she, and it lifts my soul. So you see how Lot makes the argument that it's not about low or high, it's about small, about close by and a small city. He repeats that twice, right? And she is small. Let me flee there. Is not small she, and it will lift my soul. Verse 21. And he said to him. Who is he? That's the person that Lot was just speaking to. So one of the angels. And he spoke to him. Behold, I lift up the face of yours. Also for the word this. Also regarding this word. Yeah, so we have a longer clause here. Hine, behold, I am going to lift up your face. Basically, it's an idea of I'm going to respect you. I'm going to restore your honor. I will respect you. Behold, I respect you. Also in regard to this word. Hadabar hase. Ladabar hase. And how does he respect it? Levilti, for, so dependent clause opener, levilti. Vilti is a negation, and he negates here an infinitive construct with a subject suffix. For I not destroy, or not flip, hafach is flip, right? I not flip around the city of which you have spoken about, Asher. I will not flip the city, for not me flipping the city which you have talked about. Verse 22. Hasten, be quick, be quick. Flee their words. Again here, locative A. Flee their words. Yeah, not I am able to do a thing until you are entering their words. Therefore, he called the name of the city Zoar. You see here again an infinitive construct with preposition preceding. So the cha here is a subject suffix. Until you enter, until you are entering, you own. So the suffix owns the action. It's a possessive subject, a subject suffix. Until you enter their words. Therefore, you call it the city Zoar. Now, why it's Zoar? You see that this is a play with the word mitzar. So Zoar and mitzar. Therefore, he called the city small one. Verse 23. The sun went out over the land, and Lot entered Zoar. You see here the locative hey again, without the accent on the last syllable. That's why it's the locative hey. So therefore, and Lot entered towards Zoar, or Lot came to Zoar. And the sun went out, so this is a idiom for the sun rose. The sun was rising. Verse 24. And Yahweh, obviously we have fronting here, as the predicate is being pushed back. And Yahweh let rain over Sodom and over Gopherit, that is sulfur, and fire from Yahweh, from the heavens. And so it seems that there are two Yahwehs pictured here, a Yahweh on the ground and a Yahweh in the heavens. So there's Yahweh who lets rain over Sodom and over Gomorrah, sulfur and fire from Yahweh and from the heavens. Obviously, here's a remark in the text critical apparatus, probably because we would have two mints here, from Yahweh and from the heavens. And there is probably a solution being suggested by the critical apparatus. Perhaps also some other manuscripts will have a different rendering here. Verse 25. And it turned around the cities, these, and all the loaf of bread, as I referred to earlier. It's kind of this circle of cities. In the Dutch, we have a description of such a phenomenon called the Randstad. So it's a circle of cities: Amsterdam, Utrecht, Zoetermeer, Leiden, The Hague, Leiden, Amsterdam. So it's kind of the circle of cities. This is what the ski car is referring to. So, and he turned around these cities, and the entire loaf of bread, and all the citizens of the cities, and the tzemach, that would the vegetation, and the vegetation of the earth, of the soils. Verse 26. And it saw the wife of him behind him, and she became blah, whatever. I'm not going to translate this. Anyway, good. So far, Genesis chapter 19.